Tonight the Stars Revolt by Gardner F. Fox. Originally published in Planet Stories, March 1952. Read by Jon Gill. Part 4. Men were shouting. A woman screamed. Angus brought his hard left fist up in a short arc, drove it into the stomach muscles of a man on his right. The man grunted and went backwards. Red Angus stood free, his clean blade still naked in his hand. He leapt for Style Tay, but other guards came running. One threw himself before the dagger, both hands catching at it. Another hit the pirate across the legs with his hurtling body. A third man clawed himself to a position astride his back, hooking a hairy forearm under his chin. That was when the rest of them hit him. Angus went back off his feet into a mess of struggling, cursing flesh. The guards yelped triumphantly, but Red Angus had fought in tavern brawls in the lower city and wrestled with salt slavers on the desert dunes. He fought fights from Kar to Rimeron. He surged up. His fists went up and down. His right hand flashed out, closing on a guard's wrist. The guard screamed and fell away, moaning. Angus breathed through his distended nostrils, dancing back, fists thudding into rib and jaw. He fought to get room, and he almost made it. But a guard left his feet in a wild dive before the pirate could brace himself. The man hit his knees and took them out from under him. Angus went down under a dozen leaping warriors. Grimy, blooded, Red Angus shook his head and gave up. Moana was standing above him, laughing scorn through the queer, awed light of her eyes. Her white breasts rose and fell swiftly under their scant covering. "The little dancer knew you, Bental. I saw that. But she's never been out of Kar City, and this is your first visit. Who are you?" Red Angus shrugged as the guardsman lifted him to his feet and sat him roughly down in a chair before the dictator. He made a wry face. There was a taste like bitter ashes dragging down the corners of his mouth. His belly quivered under the glistening cloth of his breeches. He seemed to hear the hierarch's drawling voice. "If you fail, you die." The dictator waved a hand. The guards lifted him, dragged him behind velveteen drapes and along a stone corridor into a small room. The dictator and Moana followed at his heels. It was the dictator who turned the key in the lock. "Who sent you?" the stocky ruler asked softly. "Who paid for my death? Tell me that, and you'll walk out of here a free man." Red Angus shook his head. He met the hazel eyes of the dictator grimly. Style Tay smiled. "Bareilles, the dancer, knows you. I can always have her brought in, you know." Moana had been walking around Angus. She came close, put a hand on the tunic that fitted his chest like a glove, and ripped. His heavily muscled shoulder was laid bare. Where the inflamed interlocking triangles gleamed, Moana cried out, "A pirate!" The dictator opened his eyes wide. "Of course. Now I know you. Red Angus. My men captured you a week ago. But how in Stazar's name did you get free?" Angus said briefly, "Does it matter?" "No." Style Tay went and sat on a curved Sigillus chair and crossed his heavy legs. He drummed short, powerful fingers against the Bethel wood arm. "But the fact that you came back after getting free, that is important. You wouldn't have stayed in Kar City unless you had to. What made you stay? Certainly you didn't hate me enough to risk your neck on such a long chance." Angus grinned through the fear in him. "A million people hate you, if you want to know. You keep the lower city men and women in filthy poverty to buy you and your kind jewels and luxury. You subsidize the hierarchy, using their science to make your life easier and safer. Why deny those poor devils down below what you could give them so cheaply? Heat, light, power to operate a few machines. Let them taste something from life besides slop and sweaty clothes and hard beds." "Oh ho!" laughed the dictator softly. "Phlegiston of Knock made a convert. What else did he say, Angus?" "He said that government and science should serve the people, not enslave them. Doesn't Stazar teach that?" The end. Thank you for listening.